Hmm? Okay. Then he is Ajanaha.
He is Ajanaha, or the Supreme Person, amongst Jnananam,
Jananam.
Jananam, or all persons. All living entities are individual persons, and amongst all such persons, Lord Hari is supreme, as confirmed in the Shruti mantra. Nityo Nityanam Chetano Chetananam. So there is no place for impersonal features in the transcendental world as there are impersonal features in the material world. Whenever there is Chetana or knowledge, the personal feature concerns comes in. In spiritual world, everything in full of knowledge, and therefore everything in the transcendental world, the land, the water, the tree, the mountain, the river, the man, the animal, the bird, everything is of the same quality, namely Chetana, and therefore everything there is individual and personal.
Pause,
Srimad.
pause, pause. So just like how as a human being we have consciousness, there every entity have consciousness. That's what you have to understand. For example, here in the material world, a stone, a rock, a mountain does not have consciousness. Oceans do not have consciousness. But there in the spiritual world, everything is consciousness. That's what you have to understand. That means there is no dead entities that we're dealing with. We're dealing with all living entities who are fully conscious, and their consciousness is such matured that they're all in service of the Lord. So, which means whichever form I may possess a human form, I may possess a bird form, I may possess a tree form, I may possess a mountain form, I may possess a river form, I may possess a metal form. Does not matter. My duty is to serve them. That means everything, every aspect of creation serves them. That is the difference between transcendental world and the material world. Read, Prabhu.
Yes. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us this information as the supreme Vedic literature, and it was personally instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to Brahmaji, so that the leader of living entities might broadcast the message to all in the universe in order to teach the supreme knowledge of Bhakti Yoga. Brahmaji, in his turn, instructed Narada, his beloved son, the same message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Narada, in his turn, taught the same to Vyasadeva, and who again taught it to Sukadeva Goswami. Through Sukadeva Goswami's grace and by the mercy of Maharaj Parikshit, we are all given Srimad Bhagavatam perpetually to learn the science of absolute personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Okay. So now you can understand the position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is not a man-made literature. It originates from the Lord himself. And then through the parampara, through the bona fide authentic parampara, who are the greatest servants, realized servants of the Lord, they are giving this knowledge to us. Okay? So, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam of Sukadeva Goswami is non-different from hearing the same instruction from the Lord which was given to Brahmaji. So that is the sacredness of this literature. So one should read this literature with a lot of love and care, with detailed attention. One should never read this literature in a speculative consciousness. Okay? In fact, our Guru Maharaj says, if one wants to read Srimad Bhagavatam, the first condition is you should agree that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this literature is all about devotion unto Him. If you agree to these two statements, then please read. Otherwise, don't read Srimad Bhagavatam. Very brilliantly you put across. Okay, next, let's read the next sloka 39. Atarhindre driyartaya haraye vihitanjalihi sarvabhutamayo vishvam sasar jedam sa purvavat. On the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Hari came, he gave Chatusloki, he disappeared. Okay. On the disappearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, whose object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of devotees, Brahma, with folded hands, began to recreate the universe. That is Visarga. Full with living entities as it was previously. Now, this is the very, very important word to understand, right? So he began recreation. Recreation. That means creation has already happened. Okay. So what is recreation? How to understand this recreation? So, for example, my mother made halwa and she put it into a box. So what I did, I took that box of halwa, I opened it, took a portion of it, and served in each and every plates who were sitting for having lunch or breakfast. So the person who are eating now, they are seeing that I am the one who's taking the halwa from the box and putting it in their plates. They are not seeing the person who made this halwa. Okay. So similarly, what Brahmaji is doing is recreating. That means already creation has happened. He is just taking it and putting into activity. That's all. That's why he uses the word began to recreate. Okay. So that means whatever you see in this creation is already being created. So then it is called, primary creation is called Sarga, secondary creation is called Visarga. Okay. Now, continuation. Full with living entities. And it says, as it was previously. This is what you have to understand. Very previously. What is as it was previously? That means in the previous cycle of millennium, when one more Brahmaji was there, during that time we existed. We existed under the previous Brahmaji who lived for his 100 years of celestial life. Now, for the Brahmaji did the same activity, same Chatusloki was spoken. We did not take it up. We continued to perform our materialistic activities, ignoring all these instructions and doing what we want as what is called as enjoyment for us. So hence what happened? When Brahmaji's 100 years of life completed, we went back into the Garbha of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and remained there for time and night. Now, again, by the causeless mercy of the Lord is creating Brahmaji again, and this Brahmaji is giving us the same chance again. That's the point. So now, between Brahmaji A in our previous life and the current Brahmaji B, one important transition that needs to happen. Devotees who picked up devotional practices, for them, there will be change of consciousness. That means, let's say I was in mode of ignorance. Maybe I came to a mode of goodness by practice of devotion, but I did not get liberated. Second, whatever state of mind or consciousness I was, out of the 5 and 7 rasas, let's say I picked up some rasa, but I was more materialistic in this rasa than transcendental. So now let's assume I was greedy, I was envious, I was lusty to some degree. Whatever state that Brahmaji left me back in the womb, that same state, whatever degree of lust, greed, and anger that I had, I will be once again born in this material world. Krishna also controls us in the same, right? So let's read this Bhagavad Gita sloka.
Purport, Prabhu. I will read, Prabhu. The Supreme Personality of God.
Haribol, wait. Okay. So now you see what Krishna says in this sloka 8.6. Are you all seeing the screen?
Yes.
Now let's see what is the sloka. We'll read the sloka, very important. It has got a connection to the Bhagavatam sloka that we are reading. Okay. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Smaran is remembering. Bhavam. Bhavam is here here this bhava is swabhava. One's nature. One's thought process. Tajate ante kalevaram. So, tajate ante kalevaram means at the last time, at the last minute of you leaving the body. Tajate means he wants to die, who gives up his body, tam tam evaiti kaunteya. Right? So, sada tad bhava bhavitaha. So now here, bhavita is remembering. Bhavita is to the same state. Okay. So this bhava is that nature, that swabhava, right? So what Krishna says here, you see, whatever state of being one remembers, state of being. So here, state of being refers to uh, what was my consciousness at the time of death? What were my desires? What were my wants? What my priorities? Whether I was in goodness, passion, ignorance, or I was in mixed modes. Whatever I was, and whatever desires that I had, that is called state of being. One remembers when he quits his body. Krishna says, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. It guarantees. If someone dies out of anger, he'll be born in the same consciousness in the next birth. That's why death is a great, great boon that the Lord gives. In fact, Krishna declares that death of an individual is my mercy. Because if he remembers me, that mercy will act so much that he will take a wonderful birth in the next opportunity. If he remembers things that are not favorable, and that will be his state of mind. So that's what Krishna is trying to tell. So while we are practicing Krishna consciousness in this path, we should remember this so that am I changing? Am I changing internally? Or am I changing externally? What is my attitude towards service? Do I do it with resistance, with inertia, or do I do it spontaneously? What's my attitude toward senior devotees? What's my attitude towards devotees of my equal, equal levels? What's my attitude towards my juniors? Very, very important. This is what is called a state of the mind. If that state of the mind is not reached what is called the satisfactory levels, then liberation again will have to wait. That's the point here. Okay. So yes, Prabhu. So now I will tell you what to read here. Okay, read the whole purport, Prabhu. It looks interesting. Yeah.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is the object of fulfilling the senses of all living entities, illusioned by the glaring reflection of the external energy. The living entity worships the senses instead of engaging them properly in fulfilling the desires of the Supreme. In the Hari Bhakti Subhodaya 13.2, there is the following verse.
Akshno phalam twadrisha darshanam. You can read, Prabhu.
You read, bro.
Tano phalam twadrisha gatra sangha. Jivva phalam twadrish kirtanam hi sudurlabha bhagavata loke.
O devotee of the Lord, the purpose of the visual sense is fulfilled simply by seeing you, and to touch your body is the fulfillment of the bodily touch. That the tongue is meant for fulfilled by the glorifying your qualities, because in this world a pure devotee of the Lord is very difficult to find. Originally, the senses of the living entities were awarded for this purpose, namely to engage them in the transcendental loving service of the Lord or that of his devotees. But the conditioned soul, illusioned by the material energy, become captivated by sense enjoyment. Therefore, the whole purpose of God consciousness is
Process.
the whole process of God consciousness is meant to rectify the conditioned activities of the senses and to re-engage them in the direct service of the Lord.
Pause
Lord
here,
Brahma,
pause here. So before Chatursloki, what did we read? Brahmaji is asking, what is the purpose of this creation? How this creation happens? What did the Lord said? This entire creation happened out of tapasya. This material creation happened out of tapasya. It did not happen out of, the willness and the likeness. It happened out of tapasya. That means the whole creation happened, the cause is tapasya, the activity is tapasya, the end state also will be tapasya. So now what are they doing here? Therefore, the whole process of God conscious to rectify the conditional activities of the sense and to re-engage them in direct service of the Lord. That means rather than looking at the sense enjoyment, one has to look at the tapasya aspect of this life, and that is the way to move forward, is the understanding of this part of the purpose. Yeah, read, Prabhu. Lord Brahma.
Lord Brahma thus engaged his senses in the Lord by recreating the conditions. So,
Entities.
ties to the act in the recreated universe. The material universe is thus created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. It is created to give the conditioned soul a chance to act to return home back to the Godhead. And servants like Brahmaji, Narada, Vyasaji, and their mm, and their company become busy with the same purpose of the Lord to reclaim the conditioned soul from the field of sense gratification and return them to the normal stage of engaging the senses in service of the Lord. Instead of doing so, that is converting the actions of the senses, the
See, converting the action of the senses, the impersonal is what they do. They make the conditioned soul senseless. That means what? Don't engage your senses or anything. They withdraw, and make the sense not to perform any act. So that's what the impersonalists do.
and the Lord also.
They make the Lord also without senses. They say, no, you're my impersonal. Yeah, okay.
This is the improper treatment of the conditioned souls. The diseased conditions of the sense may be treated by cutting the defect,
Curing
but
the defect.
not
Curing the defect.
curing the defect, but not uprooting the senses altogether.
So the example Prabhupada gives is, now let's say my hand is not working properly. The solution is not to cut the hand. The solution is to repair the hand so that it can work properly. That's the same logic here. If conditioned souls are not engaging their senses in service of Krishna, so to purify the senses is what is important rather than removing the senses. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmi. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Uses our senses in service of Lord Rishikesha because he is the proprietor of the senses. That's the point here. Next.
When there is some disease in the eye may be cured to see properly. Plucking out the eye is not treatment. Similarly, the whole material disease is based on the process of sense gratification, and liberation from the disease condition is engagement of the senses to see the beauty of the Lord, hear his glories, and act on his account. Thus, Brahmaji created the universal activities again.
So this purport, whatever Prabhuji read, is actually the realization of Brahmaji. What is the realization? He is beginning his service of recreation. At the time, he is clear in his consciousness. This is why I'm recreating. Because he's very clear on his consciousness before doing that activity, when that activity is destroyed at the end of that millennium, partial or full, because he's so much aware of his activity, Brahmaji is not disturbed or nor carries any pride in his activities. That's the whole point here. Right? So now apply this in our life, right? So for example, in a festival, you're giving a seva. For some reason, your seva was not approved, or a lot of criticism for your sake, right? So then what do you do? What do you do when such a thing happens? You make noise. You become very rebellious. You say, oh, how you can do that? I immediately escalate to higher authorities. So this is how, people behave. This is where Brahmaji is trying to say what should be the state of consciousness. Are you able to correlate with the Brahmaji's life and how we are doing in our life?
Yes, Prabhu.
So when we realize this, then we can see, oh, our false ego has been smashed. So that's the most important aspect. Okay, very good. So let's go to the next sloka, number 40. Prajapati dharmapati ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanam anvichan atistat swartha kamayaya. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entity and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in the act of regulative principles. See, Brahmaji is also in regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. Okay, so now what is the welfare of the living entities here? The welfare of the living entities is very simple. The living entities are in the same state, a materialistic state, a disturbed state, and they went back into the womb of the Bodhaksha Vishnu. And they're remaining there for time immemorial. When the next opportunity Lord Vishnu decides to give that to the souls, now Brahmaji is thinking, okay, there are 100 billion souls now in the Garbha of Lord Vishnu. Let me give each one of them an opportunity. And let them practice what Krishna said, the same state he will contain in the last date of his life. Let that go away. Let that become Krishna conscious. And that's the goal of Brahmaji. So hence, what does he do? He takes all the 100 billion living entities from the womb of their Bodhaksha Vishnu, gives them opportunities according to their past karma. So hence, some may be born in higher planetary system, some may be born in lower planetary system, some may be born in middle planetary system. Some may have a human body, some may have a demigod body, some have animalistic body, some have a dark bodies. This is all according to one's karma. So now, whatever state we are given, we are born with. When we see an opportunity of names of Hari, when we see our Rathayatra carrying Mahaprasad and then just distributing it unlimitedly to the people, a living entity gets opportunity to grab onto them. He hears his holy name, grabs onto them. He sees a Uttam Adhikari or he sees a Madhyam Adhikari. He sees them, he gets attracted to them, falls at their feet, seeks mercy, chants the holy name. So like that you see, many souls, they get opportunities, different ways. And that's why you see there are thousands of temples in India, Vishnu temples. Accidentally also you go to Vishnu temple, pray obeisances to him, eat his prasad, the journey of liberation has begun. It may take its own time, but it has begun. That's the point here. So, giving that opportunity to living entities is called the welfare of all living entities, as the thoughts from Brahmaji. Okay, so that's what he's trying to do. Okay, so now let's go to sloka number 41. Tam naradaha priyatamo vikta dhanam anuvrataha shushrushamana silena prashrayena damanecha. Narada, the most dear of the inheritor sons of Brahma, always ready to serve his father, strictly followed the instructions of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control. Look at this keyword here. He followed the instructions of his father by mannerly behavior. That is good etiquette. Meekness means humbleness, service attitude, showing a lot of humility, giving respect for others, not respecting any respect for oneself. And while doing all these things, he completely controlled the senses, not allowing the senses like a wild horse to go everywhere to enjoy everything. Prabhupada used to say once in one of his lectures that when Prabhupada was giving a class in Japan, once the class was over, many of the attendees, Okay. They were taking a bus and then they were going. So Prabhupada asked, where are they going? He said, since we kept in this location, from this location there is one distant location where special birds come. They come once a year after migration, and this is the time that they come. And these people go there to shoot at them and to eat them. Okay. So you see how our senses are. We keep searching. What is it that can satisfy my tongue? What is it that can satisfy my skin? What is it that can satisfy my eyes, my ears? So the living entities are spending 99.99% in searching for happiness. This is what they do. But what Brahmaji is doing? Mannerly behavior, meekness, and self-control. Because of that, he was able to practice bhakti. And he was able to give that to others. Right? And that empowered him to speak to Vyasadeva. He was able to see Vyasadeva's despondency and instruct him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. So, following regulative principles started from Brahmaji only. Narada also followed. Vyasadeva also followed. So, what is the difficulty for us to follow, being as the children of this Parampara? That's very important consideration. Very much. Understand. Okay. Is this point clear about austerity, about tapasya, about our nature and things like that? Is this clear? You can lift your hand too. So whatever state that we are in, by following these aspects of principles that, yes, Mataji, Premavati Mataji.
No, it's clear, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So by following these regulative principles, things like that, automatically that state, the state of mind that we had in the starting of this birth will change. And that state of mind will change for the goodness towards Krishna. And that's the beauty. That's how Prabhupada structured our sadhana bhakti, structured our Vaidhi bhakti, so that we become Krishna conscious fully. Okay? 9.42. Mayam vividishan Vishnu, Maya, Maye Shashya Mahamunihi, Mahabhagavato Rajan, Pitaram, Paryato Sayat. Narada, very much pleased by his father, and desired to know all about the energies of Vishnu. See, initially, Narada told Brahmaji, you are the creator, you are the ultimate God. He made such a claim. Then Brahmaji told Narada, no, I am not the ultimate creator. I am just doing secondary creation. Above me, there is Krishna. And this is what the glory of Krishna is. And in that conversation, Brahmaji explained that. So now Narada is asking, I want to know about energies of Vishnu. What are the different kinds of energies? The matter of all energies. For Narada was the greatest of all sages and greatest of all devotees. So now he's asking the next question. Tell me about energies of Vishnu. Tell me about the activities of Vishnu. So he's going to go into it. Okay. Can someone read this purport? This purport is interesting. And Mataji can read. No, Mataji, speak for him.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Please read, Mataji.
Lord Brahma, being the creator of all living beings in the universe, is originally the father of several well-known sons like Daksha, the Chatursanas, and Narada in three departments of human knowledge designated by the Vedas, namely fruitive work, Karma Kanda, transcendental knowledge, Gnana Kanda, and devotional service, Upasana Kanda. Devashi Narada inherited from his father Brahma devotional service, whereas Daksha inherited from his father fruitive work, and Sanaka, Sanatana,
Before
etc.
Kumar.
inherited from their father information about Gnana Kanda or transcendental knowledge. But out of them all, Narada is described here as the most beloved son of Brahma because good behavior, obedience, meekness, and readiness,
Render. Readiness.
readiness to render service unto the Father. And Narada is famous as the greatest of all sages because of his being the greatest of all devotees. Narada is the spiritual master of many famous devotees of the Lord. He is the spiritual master of Prahlada, Dhruva, and Vyasa, down to the forest animal hunter Kirata. His only business
The
is to
turn
turn everyone to the transcendental loving service
of the
of
Lord.
the Lord. Therefore, all these features of Narada take him the dearmost son of his father, and all his this is due to Narada being a first class devotee to the Lord. The devotees are always anxious to know more and more about the Supreme Lord, the master of all energies, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Machinta Madgata Parana.
Prana.
Yes, Prana Bhadayantah
Bodhayanta,
Bodhayantah
Parasparam,
Param
Katayantascha
Katayantah
Mamnityam,
Nityam
Tushyanti cha,
Tasyantisha
Ramanti cha.
Ramanticha. The Supreme Lord is unlimited, and his energies is also unlimited. No one can know them completely. Brahmaji is being the greatest living entity within this universe and being directly instructed by the Lord. Must know more than anyone within this universe. Although such knowledge may not be complete, thus it is duty of everyone to ask about unlimited Lord form, the spiritual master in this disciple succession of Brahma, which descends from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasa to Sukadeva, and so on.
Okay. So now let's go back to reflect on this. So Brahmaji instructed to his three sons. Who are the three sons here? Prajapati, Daksha Prajapati, Devarshi Narada, and then third is he's talking about the four Kumaras. Okay. Now let us see the comparative analysis of these three. Daksha Prajapati get into fruitive action, fruitive work, that means creation. So hence he was passionate in nature. Okay. Now, Narada picked up Bhakti Yoga as the life, and he kept on spreading the glories of the Lord everywhere. Now, the four Kumaras, they became impersonalist, and they demonstrated impersonalism behavior in their preaching. Okay, now let's see what happened to each of them. So, Daksha Prajapati, because he was passionate in nature, we know the pastimes of Daksha Prajapati, right? That he could not understand the position of Shiva, who was a pure devotee, and hence he misbehaved and he committed offense against the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. See, this is the cause of being passionate. Of course, he is doing the duty what his father wants, that is to creation, to expand the universe and things like that. But while in the process, one need to be very careful. Now, let's look at what Narada did. Daksha used to create the Prachetas. What Narada did, he went to the Prachetas and talk about the importance and the value of life, and the Prachetas became devotees. That's the beauty of Narada. He went to Dhruva, who was passionate about his position to become the throne, to head the throne, but Narada made him such a great devotee. Prahlad, who is coming from the parampara of demons, and who was in the womb of Kayadu, he spoke to her and made her a devotee. How many examples? Mrigari, Valmiki. How many examples? You can just go on and see. Narada's duty is very simple. Wherever he goes, he makes them into devotees. Makes them go back home, back to God. That's the greatness of it. Hence, when we get into a situation where we want to talk about glories of Narada, you can pick up the sloka 42, 43, and the earlier part of this canto also, where Narada is asking questions to Brahmaji. You can see these are all the slokas that are connected, which talks about glories of Narada. Right? So, Daksha Prajapati, we discussed what his life was. Narada, we discussed what his life was. Narada's performance was so wonderful that even in Brajalila, even in Dwarka, Narada played the role. His role is to transform people to go towards the lotus feet of the Lord. And that's exactly what we devotees should do. Our Narada is our forefather, right? As a descendant of Naradaji, what we should also possess the same skill of give that bhakti to others. Give Krishna bhakti to others. That should be the role. So hence preach. Go, connect with people, tell them the glory of Vishnu, preach to them, make them do it. So for that to happen, you will become pure. Once I'm pure, I can make that happen. That's the point. Okay, now let's take the third person. The third child of Brahmaji is the four Kumaras. Now these four Kumaras, you see, they were impersonal in nature. How did they transform into personal? Jai Vijay pastime. After the Jai Vijay pastime, Lord came to the rescue of Jai Vijay because they cursed. And because Tulasi was at the lotus feet of the Lord, these four Kumaras smelled the smell of Tulasi leaves went into their nostrils, and it cleared up their impersonalism. And they became great devotees of the Lord. Once they became great devotees of the Lord, they want to know about the Lord. So what they did, they went to Patal Lokas, and they found that Ananta, so this is Sheshanaga, this is not exactly Balaram. So this Sheshanaga, who's holding the entire 14 stack of planetary system, the Bhumandala, on his hood. And Brahmaji is given him the task. What the task? While you're just holding the entire 14 planetary system on your hood and sitting there, what are you going to do? You better recite the glories of the pastimes of the Lord, and that is your service. So Seshanaga, sitting below the Patal Loka, what he did? He kept on reciting each and every pastime of the Lord, and while holding the service of having the 14 stack of planetary system on his head. So these four Kumaras, who turned impersonal to personal because of the smell of Tulasi, what they did? They went to Patal Loka. They sat with Seshanaga and they heard the entire Bhagavatam. So that's why the Kumara Sampradaya also teaches Srimad Bhagavatam, which takes us back to Godhead. Otherwise, if you don't understand that connect, then you will conclude that, hey, these people were Jnanakanda and they were impersonalists. How we can take how that can become bona fide Sampradaya, go back to Godhead? This is the past. Right? So now you can see how the children of Narada, each of them took one path and what did the role that happened, and how Narada became supreme. Okay? Is this purport clear? Okay, so let's read the next sloka, 43. Tustam nisamnya pitram lokanam pratipitamaham devarshi paripapracha bhavanya manuprachati. The great sage is also including detail from his father, Brahma, the great grandfather of the universe, after seeing him well satisfied. Okay? So he is asking more detail about transcendental life, what is transcendental knowledge. Hence, you can see all the slokas we have discussed. Tadvidi pranipatena. So he approached one should approach the spiritual master with menial service as the mind. The goal is to hear about Vishnu, and by pleasing a realized soul, one can hear that from him. If you're rebellious in nature, you cannot please a spiritual master, and you cannot hear transcendental knowledge. This is the point here. So, that is why the sloka has been quoted here. Yascha deva parabhaktir yata deva tata guru tasyaita katita hi artaha prakashante mahatma. Only unto one who has unflinching devotion to the Lord and to the spiritual master does transcendental knowledge become automatically revealed. This is the truth of the Upanishads. Let me read this once again. Only unto one who has unflinching devotion to the Lord, a person, and to the spiritual master does transcendental knowledge become automatically revealed. So, if there is a pure devotee who is practicing nicely, he has revelations in his heart, who has revealed the Chaitya Guru, the Paramatma sitting in the heart of that person, has revealed the truth about the activities, the pastime of the Lord. So what we should do, we should connect with that person and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the most important. That is concluded. Okay. So you can read about how Narada's equality was, how Narada was meek. In the life of Narada also very interesting, right? Lord Vishnu manifested for just a short period of time and he disappeared. And that made Narada crazy. Where is my Lord? Where is my Lord? He kept on searching the entire life, remembering that Lord, and he left his body. In his previous life as a son of a maidservant. And that qualification made him to become the great Naradaji. So that qualification of Narada is being talked about here in this pulpit, right? So when we read this, oh, Narada was well behaved, was never getting angry, was always goal focused to give Krishna Bhakti to others. He was very obedient to the rules and to the subject matters and things like that. So here subjects are, these are various rishis who are holding different portfolios in the kingdom. That means when he gave some kingdom, not only to the king, even to the various subjects, he used to be very, kind and dealing and, always goal focused. So that is what is Narada. So you can read the life of Narada from these slippers. Okay. 44. Tasmaidam Bhagavatam Puranam Dasalakshanam Proktam Bhagavata Praha Ritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. See, this sloka is very beautiful. You can actually all mug up this sloka. This is glory of Bhagavatam. Tasmai, thereupon, idam, this Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord or the signs of the Lord, Puranam, Vedic supplement, Dasa Lakshanam, 10 characteristics. Dasa is 10, Lakshanam is characteristics. Okay. Proktam, describe, Bhagavata, the personality of Godhead, Praha, said, Pritaha, in satisfaction, Putraya, on to the son, Bhuktakrit, the creator of this universe. So what does he say here? Thereupon, the supplementary Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by Brahmaji to Narada. So Narada got complete update about Srimad Bhagavatam. And Narada gave that knowledge to Vyasadeva. Right? So this is the most important aspect. Okay. Now we will just read this purport. Very interesting. Can someone read this purport?
Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Yeah, please read.
Although the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses, it had 10 characteristics, which will be explained in the next chapter. In the 4 verses, it is first said that the Lord existed before the creation, and thus the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam includes the Vedanta aphorism Janmadi Asya. Janmadi Asya is the beginning. Yet the 4 verses in which it is said that the Lord is the root of everything that be, beginning from the creation up to the supreme abode of the Lord, naturally explain the 10 characteristics. One should not misunderstand by wrong interpretations that the Lord spoke only 4 verses and that therefore all the rest of the 17,994 verses are useless. The 10 characteristics, as will be explained in the next chapter, require so many verses just to explain them properly. Brahmaji had also advised Narada previously that he should expand the idea that he had heard from Brahmaji. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this to Srila Rupa Goswami in a nutshell, but the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately, and the same subject was further expanded by Jiva Goswami and even further by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. We are just trying to follow in the footsteps of all these authorities. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not like ordinary fiction or mundane literature. It is unlimited in strength, and however one may expand it according to one's own ability, Bhagavatam still cannot be finished by such expansion. Srimad Bhagavatam, being the sound representation of the Lord, is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses, all the same, inasmuch as the Lord is smaller than the atom and bigger than the unlimited sky. Such is the potential of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Fantastic analogy, no? So, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam contains the concise explanation by the Lord, which is the Chatursloki. Later on, that revelation of the four slokas, which was imparted in the heart of Brahmaji, he saw that revelation, he got the realization, oh, this is what it is. So he expanded 4 to 40. And when Brahmaji explained that to Naradaji, he expanded 40 to 4,000. And like that, each one of the acharyas, when they heard this Bhagavatam from the right source, because of their practices of sadhana and purity, and the revelation, the realization that they hear in their heart, they were able to explain Bhagavatam. So, whatever Bhagavatam we are reading is a combination of the original instructions of the Lord and the realization of the devotees. This is the most important matter you have to understand. Hence, it is important to understand that we hear Bhagavatam from the parampara, not from others, because since Bhagavatam contains the original instruction plus the realization of the devotees, we cannot have a non-devotee giving his interpretation on this manner, which will skew. Skew means get taken in a different direction of Bhagavatam, and hence the meaning is getting lost. So you see, he said, whether explained in 4 verses or in 4 billion verses, all will conclude in the same manner. This is most important. Hence, be very alert while reading Bhagavatam. Be alert about our acharyas, who wrote what, how, and that is knowledge. That is what we have to spend time. That is the beauty of Srimad. Okay? Since you see, there are many, many commentaries. Yeah, Prabhupada picked up most of his commentary from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, one of the greatest realized souls. Then he blended it with the literature from Rupa Goswami, literature from Jiva Goswami, literature from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then he compiled this Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam is enriched with so much of realization. Here an example is given about Lord's instruction to Rupa Goswami. Lord's instruction to Sanatana was different. Lord's instruction to Rupa was different. To Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Prabhu told, open the floodgates of love. What does that mean? That means when someone reads your literature, the love of Godhead should foam and manifest like Ganges in the heart. So that is how your literature should be. And hence, that one instruction of Chaitanya Prabhu to Rupa Goswami, followed by Chaitanya Prabhu's empowerment on Rupa Goswami, followed by Mahaprabhu staying as Chaitya Guru and giving him revelation to Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, ocean of nectar. So that is called nectar of devotion. So you see how our acharyas are so merciful, and we have to take that from them. Then read. That's the brilliance. Okay? So that's the major conclusion of this paper. So now we are pretty much done with the second canto, 9th chapter. Here Narada is just instructing to Vyasdev. Naradaha praha munaye saraswatyastate nrupa vyayate brahma paramam vyasaya mita tejase. In succession, O king, the great sage Narada instructed Srimad Bhagavatam on to unlimitedly powerful Vyasdev. Why? Vyasdev is sound incarnation of the Lord. He is already empowered. Now with this knowledge, he is just going to make it really brilliant. Who meditated in devotional service upon Supreme Personal Godhead, the absolute truth, on the bank of river Saraswati. So that's why, people who assisted in Prabhupada in preparing this compilation of 10th canto volumes and things like that, Prabhupada mentioned the top class sadhana for them. And even after Prabhupada left, Prabhupada wrote only till I think about half of 10th canto, something like that. Then the balanced 10th canto, 11th and 12th canto was written by the disciples. Okay. They had so much of consciousness of Prabhupada, so much of consciousness of the parampara. And because of the purity that they maintained, they were able to complete this literature. Okay. So we'll read the last sloka for the day, the last sloka for the chapter itself. Yat utaham tvaya prishto vairajat purushadidam yatasit tat upakshay Upakshayaste Prashnam Anyamscha Krishnasaha. O king, your questions as to how the universe became manifest from the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead, as well as other questions I shall answer in detail by explanation in the 4 verses already mentioned. So, Sukadeva Goswami is going to explain that in the next chapter, which is 2.10. That is the last chapter for this chapter. Right? So, from this we can understand how creation, the primary creation called Sarga, actually happened. Now, the 10th chapter is also very interesting. Is how Bhagavatam can answer all our questions. Right? How Bhagavatam can become the source of knowledge, ultimate knowledge for one's need and one's goal in life. So that is the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that we will see in the 10th chapter. And the 10th chapter is very interesting because it's very simple actually. So he's going to take up the 10 characteristics and explain each and every characteristics, and we will be concluding that. Okay. So by understanding this, we can understand, oh, should I stay here in this material world and somehow to do this? Or should I go back home, back to Godhead, and then do my service? What should I do? Where should I do? Krishna's here also, Krishna there also. What is one's role? So like that, there are many, many questions. So we can see that all those questions are getting answered, and Bhagavatam clears all. Okay. So after 10th canto is concluded, I will take up a few topics from 10th canto, sorry, the 2nd canto, and I will publish those topics. My request is, serious practitioners, actually this was done in Bhakti Vaibhav. For example, we will talk about a topic called as Naradaji. Glories of Naradaji is a question. So you have to check the entire canto in different chapters. Wherever Narada played a role, what are questions he asked, what are action he did, you can look into that. Simply cut and paste from the purport. That's all. You don't need to do your own realization. And prepare a passage. Glories of Narada. Reference this. So like that, I'll be preparing certain set of homework for each of you, and you can sit and write them. When you sit and write them, you will see your expansive knowledge of Bhagavatam. It just gets really amazing. That's the beauty of it. So we'll do that exercise after the 10th canto. So you can take your own time and do that. But remember, whatever you're doing for your own benefit. You're not doing to please anyone. You're doing to learn Bhagavatam stronger and better. So that's how you do it. Do it with a lot of energy, with a lot of enthusiasm, so that you can know the Lord better. We can know the Acharya better. We can know the forefather Brahma better. All those things. Okay. So we'll end today's class, and thank you everyone for accommodating this week's date change. But next week we'll continue to go back to Saturday. Okay. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Any questions? I hope you enjoyed Bhagavatam so far discussion.
Yes,
Right.
Prabhu. Yes, very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ram Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Yes, Matis.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Okay. So if there is no questions, we will end the class today. If you still have questions, you can still post it on WhatsApp group, and we can continue to answer them. Okay.
Prabhu, I got a general question, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu.
See, like, actually, basically, we're all from spiritual world. The moment we thought of enjoying independently, we landed in this material world. So
Not
why it is
enjoying independently, Prabhu. Slightly different understandings.
okay? And since we're in this material world, why it is taking so much time to understand the God and go back to Godhead? So much difficulty.
The Lord was trying. No, it's not difficulty. Difficulty is there in our mind because we are so much conditioned, See,
Yeah.
for example, Prabhu, you take a person who's addicted with drugs. Okay. Now, for us, it's very easy, We don't like drugs. We can survive without drugs, correct? But for a person who's addicted to drugs, he feels that I cannot survive without drugs. And he's thinking, how you people are all surviving without drugs?
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue is not with the drug, the issue is with the mind. Okay, we find it's complex, we find it difficult. You talk to liberated people, for them, not practicing Krishna conscious is very, very difficult. How will you be without practicing Krishna conscious? That's what they'll ask. But for materialistic people, you will say, hey, how will you keep going to temple all the days? How will you keep chanting, man? What is this? Very difficult, they'll say. So it's all about the conditioning of the mind. Okay, so that's the first thing that we have to understand. Now, you made a comment, no? That we won't enjoy independently. Actually, we did not enjoy independently. It is called carelessness or lethargy. Okay, so I'll tell you how. A student was a science student. Okay, he is trying to learn physics now. He read physics once, but the exam is still far away. It's about 9 months more. He read physics once fully, and the entire chapter he read. He said, okay, I know this. Very easy only. What's the big difficulty? Because he came into that, that comfort zone, familiarity, greater familiarity. In the rest of the year, until exam, he never got deeper to practice that physics again. He said, I know it. Suddenly, when the exam came, he found that, oh my God, there's so much that I assumed I'm into this, but he is, he is helpless in the last minute. He failed in the exam. So similarly, what happens, Prabhu? We think a temple is here only. No. Anytime we want, we can go. What's the big deal? Same deities are there. Same devotee will say Hare Krishna there only. So why every day we should go there? Once a while, next week, next month I'll go. So then what happens? We are taking that thought in our mind. It is not that we hated Krishna. It is not that we want to enjoy separately. It is just that we took it casually. Too much familiarity caused this problem. And what happened? Suddenly we saw from one day daily attendance, it became weekly attendance, then became monthly attendance, then became festival-based attendance, and festival also, oh no, I'm traveling this time, next festival I'll attend. So you see, from strong Krishna consciousness, a devotee, how he drifted away to weak Krishna consciousness. The same thing happened in the spiritual world also. Prabhupada, Purna Pragnadas gives in his book, The Wheeling the Lotus Feet, he gives us an example. You know what he says? There was a 100 watts bulb and I was standing next to it and the entire light of the bulb fell on me. So I slowly walked a little bit, 10 feet away. I saw a light is still there. I walked 100 feet away. Then I saw still light is there. Without my knowledge, I walked further and further. I went to 1,000 feet. Then I saw the light was just like a dot, spot. So similarly, while practice of devotion, mending the consciousness, keeping goal focused. What is my existence? What's the purpose of my existence? What are my duties? It's very important to hold. Otherwise, you will see dilution in Krishna consciousness. The same thing happened to us. We diluted our connect with Krishna and we just fell into this.
Got it, Prabhu. Thank
You
you.
got it?
Yeah.
You dilute in your business also, what will happen? Same thing. That's exactly what's happening to us. So hence Krishna is trying to tell, now that I've taught you all these things, if you cross over this difficulty, you're asking why it is difficult. Cross over this difficulty, then you'll see now you're steady state. And you'll see no, you will not fall down. Hence he says, Avyakto Akshara iti uktas tamahu paramam gati. After crossing all these difficulties, you reach paramam gati. Paramam means what? Vaikuntha Loka. Then there's no chance of you returning back. So he is trying to what is called as the best filtration process is trying to do. Okay? So the point is clear this filtration process rather than thinking it is difficult.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have a doubt here, Prabhu, in the shloka 34. There is a sentence mentioned. Even dead matter, there is one supreme person who is the progenitor of this cosmic manifestation and whose energy acts as prakriti or the material nature. dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of Prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the cooperation of living energy of the Lord. So, what is this dead matter? Srila Prabhupada is trying to.
Dead matter means one does not possess consciousness, like rocks or anything like that.
But how that is being made to move, Prabhu? Oh, because of the so many.
So this is because innate and inanate. That means what? Now, for example, you went into sleep. There are two kinds of sleeps, right? Sleep is half sleep, or you can go into deep slumber. You know what deep slumber is?
Yeah, dead like a log.
Like dead. Your body is completely inactive.
Hmm.
Even if I come and shake you like this, you won't wake up.
Okay.
That deep sleep you went into.
Okay.
That is called dormancy, they will say.
Okay.
Right? So to wake you up from that sleep is very difficult, not possible, almost close to impossible.
Okay.
Okay. So he says even that can be woken up. That is the power of it.
Lord's energy. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Prabhu, one more question.
Prabhu.
That Bhakta Tukaram is the greatest devotee of Panduranga. So whether he has got all this knowledge or only just simple devotion only made him to go to Vaikuntha?
It contains both, Prabhu. One is the practice by oneself. Another is the revelation by the Lord in his heart. Right? See, many times you go to speak about a particular subject matter, you will suddenly wonder, oh, see, these things came from me by my own thought process. So that my own thought process is nothing but the revelation of the Lord. So he wrote they call adangas, anagas. Just like we have pasram in Tamil, he wrote those verses to glorify the Lord. Okay. Once a point he reached in his devotion practice, he became liberated. In a liberated state, what happens? Sat Chit Ananda. The Chit potency, which is the inherent nature of the soul, starts to manifest. Hey, I already know mathematics, man. I already know algebra. I know geometry. I know trigonometry. I know everything. But I'd forgotten. Now it manifested. So like that, the creation, every aspect of this creation, every aspect of the maintenance, every aspect of these activities is already known to us, but they're covered like a bulb covered with mud, covered with the black carbon. You will see the bulb is not glowing. But because of devotion service, when the bulb is clean, Chetodarpanamarjana, see the bulb is glowing. So you're wondering, how did the bulb glow suddenly? It was always glowing. We covered it. So the knowledge possessed by Tukaram was always present. Because of his devotion practice, it just got opened up and revealed. That's the point.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think his writings called Pundaliks or something?
No, it's called some Angas, Adangas, some is there. His writings are called. Okay. I'll search that and I'll send a message.
No. Thank you very much. So all knowledge is there, only just try to clean up.
Yeah, it's there. It is hidden. It is hidden. Why? Hidden by a conditioned state. It is hidden by your mental concoction. It is not that, Prabhu, you are superior than me, I am superior to someone. No. Everyone is equal because we are all same part and parcel of Lord Krishna. It is just that it is covered. For me, it is uncovered for someone. So the process of bhakti is nothing to uncover my potency.
Okay. Very good.
Very good. Okay. So if all the questions are done, we'll end here. And thank you for all your support. So we will do this exercise. Do this exercise with a lot of love and involvement. Don't do it as a burden. You will learn Bhagavatam very well. So I'm going to prepare about 5-6 topics and do that with enthusiasm. You learn 10th canto much deeper. Okay. There will be only 1 week gap between 2nd and 3rd canto. So 3rd canto will again take more registrations. More people can join. But between that time, try to begin this activity. You can take 4-5 weeks to complete this activity, but you will love it. This is called research on Bhagavatam, whatever you read. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Shiv Prasad Prabhu, I have one example I want to quote you. See, now recently we had some young people from India who went and attended this chess championship in the world, and they defeated the world championship, correct?
Correct.
You know that now? And they're what? They're not even 20 years, they are about 12 years, 13 years and all. Okay. So, now tell me, where is this skill on this game coming from them, for them? So, in this birth, you know what happened? Out of many potencies of knowledge, this one potency got uncovered. And hence, you see, from birth only they're talking about chess. From birth only they're talking about music. From birth only they're talking about this. That's the whole point. From birth only, that particular aspect of knowledge got uncovered. So they're exhibiting it to the greatest. Right? So that's the point here.
Very true.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Stands Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Okay, I'll end the class here. Okay, thank you.